Hi there, it's Reverend Jenny. I've been sitting around today thinking about a lot of the experiences that I've had with spirits, especially at the Merchant House. And I've also had experiences outside the Merchant House when it comes to spirits. I lived in New York City for a long time. I lived in Staten Island, and I lived in Tottenville, which it started existing in the 1700s. So Tottenville has a lot of history, and Tottenville is very haunted. And I experienced a lot while I lived there. One of my favorite stories that I remember that I actually experienced was I had to go to work very early in the morning, and I had to walk my dog, Blackjack, my beloved Blackjack, who passed away in 2014. I adored him. And so I got up very early. I had to be at work at around 7:30 in the morning. So I got up around 4 o'clock to walk him. And got up, put my coat on. It was winter time. And I always walked him around the same block. I knew the routine. And it's 4 o'clock in the morning. I leave the house. Now, in Tottenville, it was an extremely quiet town, extremely quiet neighborhood. The houses were side by side. And when you walked that early in the morning, it was so quiet, you can actually hear a pin drop. And at that time, there was nobody around. And I felt safe. It was a very safe neighborhood. Kids would leave, their bicycles in front of their houses for days at a time, and they were never moved or stolen. So I felt safe walking around at 4 o'clock in the morning. So I got up, got dressed, meaning I put my coat on, and I took Blackjack out for his walk. I'm walking down the street, and down the street, I see this woman. Long blonde hair, with a beautiful, beautiful white dog. So with me, I'm thinking, well, we're both going in the same direction. She has a bigger dog, so she needs to cross the street because my dog is small. This is my thinking. And I'm walking towards her, and I see her. I mean, the dog was beautiful. He was big and he was white. And I'm walking towards her. She's walking towards me. As we're getting closer, I can see that she's not crossing the street. Now, I have no idea how this dog will react with Blackjack, or how would Blackjack react with the dog. And all the cars are parked, because everybody has cars in Staten Island. So all the cars are parked. So I decided to cross the street and hide behind a car and let her pass. I thought she was being rude. I cross the street, I go behind the car, and I'm waiting there for her to pass me. So I waited about, a minute. So let me get her time. And I look across, but this time she already had, she should have passed me already. So I look from behind the car and I don't see her. And I look towards the right, thinking that she passed me. And I don't see her. I waited and I don't hear anything. And I look, I walked across the street and I looked both ways. She was not around. I found that odd because I know for a fact that if she had gone into a house, I would have heard her. And I was actually in the middle of the block. Now in Staten Island, especially in my town, the blocks are very long. It takes you at least a couple of minutes to go from one corner to the next. So if she would have passed me, I could have, looked down the block and seen her. And if she walked into a house, I would have heard the door opening and closing. Nothing. So I'm like, okay. I questioned it. Was it a spirit? Or was just a person walking their dog at 4 o'clock in the morning, which I have not seen before in all these years that I lived in Tottenville. So I let it go. 6 months later, again, I had to go to work very early. So I get up, leave the house with Blackjack. We always walk down the same block. He knew the routine. And I'm walking down the street. As I look, there she is. I'm like, oh, same woman, long blonde hair, walking a beautiful white dog. So I'm like, okay, she's not a spirit. This is a real person. So I'm walking down this, we're both on the same side of the street. I'm walking down the street, I'm going towards her, she's coming towards me. Again, I'm thinking, your dog is bigger than mine. You should, cross the street first and let me pass by. As I'm getting closer to her, I realize she is not crossing. So again, I have to cross the street and hide behind a car and let her pass. Because I don't know how the dogs are going to react to each other. And this dog was beautiful. It was huge and it was white. Pure white. So I cross the street, go behind a car with Blackjack. And Blackjack saw the dog. Blackjack saw her. But he showed no reaction. So I'm behind, the car because now she was getting closer to me. So I go behind the car and wait. Give it a minute. Waiting for her to pass. And I look over and I don't see her coming down the street. I look to the other side. I don't see her passing me. But I waited. And then I hear a door open. And I'm like, she's a real person. I hear the door opening and I hear somebody going down the steps from their home. So I cross the street and I look to my right It's not the lady with the dog. It was a man coming out of his house. I saw him going down the steps and walking and crossing and getting to his car. What happened to this lady? Again, I'm in the middle of the block. She couldn't walk that fast, especially with a dog. I looked to my left, I looked to my right. Was she a spirit? She had to be. Because there's no way she could walk that fast to either corner. And to this day, I wonder. I only saw her twice, 6 months apart, and only around that time. So to me, she was a spirit. Somebody who walked their dog, and I guess they both passed away. This happened years ago to me. I always wonder, and I think about that. Those 2 different nights, 6 months apart. So what do you think? You think she was a spirit? Or she went into her house and I didn't hear the door open? You let me know. Okay? Have a good evening. Bye.